Good morning, Williston. So I was just talking to Mr. Dau, and my neck is a little strained from that. He stands at about 6'8", and I was sharing with him a story about a countryman of his who is Bul, who some of you may know if you follow the NBA, was the tallest player in the NBA at 7 foot 7 inches tall. And a whole bunch of years ago, I found myself on a U.S. Air flight out of Washington, D.C., where he was playing for the Bullets, and it was one of those crazy flights, delayed 11 o'clock at night, and a whole bunch of really tall people get on the airplane, and I'm looking around going, who are these guys? And I'm like, duh, you know, it's the Washington Bullets. And this really tall guy, Bul, gets on, sits right down in front of me at 7 foot 7. I thought, how is that going to work in an airplane seat like this? And he sits down, and across the aisle from him was an elderly lady who had a little handbag. And she looks at him and says, this is a true story, she looks at him and says, excuse me, sir, could you help put this handbag in the overhead for me? You know, sometimes, you know, little ladies need a little help doing that. And I thought, okay, now he's going to uncurl himself and get up. No. He took the handbag from her across the aisle, reached above her head, and put the bag away without getting out of his seat. So that is a countryman of our next speaker. It's not every day that we get to hear and meet a person whose story is as compelling and whose adult life's work is as admirable as our guest this morning. John Dau's towering profile is known to you from your reading of his memoir, God Grew Tired of Us, as well as from Mrs. Klump's announcement in Assembly earlier in the fall. But think of this. At the age when many of you begin your Williston journey, 13 years old, Mr. Dau began an epic trek of survival, along with thousands of other child refugees escaping the indiscriminate killing and destruction of his war-torn homeland of Sudan, Africa's largest country. Imagine, as he states in his book, being awoken in the middle of the night by a tree-shattering artillery bombardment that the children of his native village could only interpret as the end of the world, only to realize that that apocalyptic night marked the beginning of an ordeal that defies the limits of human endurance, physical and spiritual. Hailing from Syracuse, New York, where he has lived since he immigrated to the United States in 2001, Mr. Dau has devoted himself and his foundation to helping South Sudan as that newly formed country gains its footing among the world's nations. Thanks to the generosity of the Sarah Perry Waddles 1977 speaker series in the funding of this annual all-school event, and to Ms. Evelti and Ms. Klump for all of their work in arranging today, it is my great pleasure and honor to welcome Mr. John Bul Dau to Williston.
Thank you, Bob, and that's a very, very generous introduction. I want to thank those who decided that I should be one of the speakers of this year. Kim, I appreciate that, and of course the school administration under your leadership, Bob, and that's wonderful. As you know, your teachers told you, I think a week ago, that I was supposed to be here on November 1st. But as you know, such a bad weather happened, and that prevented me to come. So I'm glad that we rescheduled and that I would share my life story with you today. I was so excited to come back because I heard so many good things about you students. That you were very excited, and I was so excited too to come and share with you. So for those who read my book, you know what I'm going to be talking about, and for those who never got a chance to read that, if you get time, sometime later, you can read it. But what I'm going to share with you this morning is what I call my life story. And I call it a living testimony because that's the life that I went through, and I'm still alive. And maybe when you go out later, you would share that story with your family members, your friends, your classmates, And so the story moved from me to you, and then from you to somebody, and so on. That's why I call it living testimony. It is about my life story. It is about when I was young in my village in Sudan. I came from a country called Sudan. For those who do not know, Sudan, before it split into two, it has three things about it. Sudan was known for three things. Three things are, number one, it's the largest country in Africa that went before it split into two. The largest country in Africa. It's the second thing about it is the country that's been divided into two by the longest river, River Nile. It's running from the south to Egypt, of course to the north, and then to Egypt. The third thing about our country is a country that's been fighting each other. There have been many civil wars. It started about 1894. Another war started in 1955. Yet another war started in 1983. And then the current war going on now in Darfur started in 2003. And actually, there's another war also just started this year. So this is a country that's been fighting each other. The people that have been fighting each other is the North and South. The people living in the South, where I came from, are African, black African Christians. That's where I came from. The northern part of our country, what used to be one Sudan, is dominated on the northern side by the Arab Muslims. And so this group have been fighting each other. You may be asking, so why are they fighting each other? It's all of the above. It's about religion, it's about culture, it's about different tribe, it's about economics, it's about anything, it's about political. It's all of the above. So I'm going to talk to you about the war that started in 1983. It started when I was a little boy. I was taking care of my father's cows. We were very okay in the village. That was the time before they get to my village. And, you know, there was no school. My work as John at the time when I was 12, 13 years old, it was the time that I was running after my father's cow, goats, and so on. Well, the villagers have been talking about the prospect that when, the expectation that when, if they attack our villages, because the people in the north, the troop, have been coming from the north down to southern Sudan. But before they get to my village, people have been talking about, the adults have been talking about it. If we were attacked, we will have to go this way, we will go to Toch. Toch means is near River Nile, or others say we'll go to east, or others say we're going to hide. We children did not understand what the adult were talking about. It's always the people are talking and try to figure out how they can survive. Anyway, one of the night in 1987, when I was about 12 or 13 years old, my village was attacked. It was attacked when my brothers and I were sleeping in our own house. See, in Africa, you build different little houses. It would be a house of the boys, house of the girls, house of your mother, or house for visitors. In the United States, you have one big building, you have little room in it. While my brothers and I, plus other neighboring boys, were sleeping in our own house. It was in the middle of night when my village was attacked. The sound of bullet, the whistling of bullet, the bomb exploding here and there, woke us up right in the middle of night. My mother was calling outside. That's what I was hearing. Meet Bakabe. That is the Dinka statement saying, children, children, come out. As in the middle of, in that house, there's no light. In the United States, you can turn on light. There's no light. So it's a middle of, just very dark, and we're trying to find the door. Later we found the door. I got out. I saw somebody running across my home compound. I thought it was my father. So I was running after this man. As we were running for a few yards, he touched into the grass. And I was coming by. He grabbed my arm and pulled me into the grass. All of a sudden, a long line of troops was coming shooting. We kept quiet. They burned down houses, kill young boys or young men, abduct women and girls, taking them to northern Sudan, to Khartoum, loot our cars. Everything was a total destruction. And that is why I described it was as if God got tired of us. Because it was such a total destruction where anything was alive was killed at that time. The guy that I thought was my father turned out to be my neighbor. His name, Abraham Dennis Solomon Neon. In the following morning, I was with him and I was asking him that I should go back to see my parents, and he said that I should go with him. So I went with him. We went for a few days, about 2 days without food. Later, we ran into a woman with her 2 daughters, and we became 5. Honestly, on our way from our village toward Ethiopia, there was nothing to eat. The life was just very difficult. Nothing to cover yourself at night. I cry at night because it's very cold. Food, no food. It was just, we only live on wild fruits. We shoot grass like a cow so that we can stay alive. Shoot grass so that we can swallow juices. It was very difficult. You see my body now, you can see a lot of scars in my body because at some point we were being beaten by militia, by a equivalency of what we call ginger weed. That group wrapped us on the way, beat us to the point I thought I was dead. So it took us about 3 months from my village to Ethiopia. But before we got to Ethiopia, there was, between a place called Pibor and Pochala, there was no water. We went for 1 day, almost the second day with no water. And some of us didn't want to go, others said they want to die there, others didn't want to go at all. Thirst became a killer. Some died, others started drinking human urine or eating mud so they would stay alive. If that didn't help us. We were 27. By the time we find good water, we were only 4. That means we lost about 23 of us, being eaten by hyenas or wild animals such as lion. Eventually 4 of us got to Ethiopia. It took us about 3 months to get there. We were put in a group of 50 people. As I said before, I was about 13 years old, but I was taller than the other boys, so I was put in charge of one group. My group was about 50 people. Later, they added some more lost boys into my group. So my group became 1,200 lost boys. Their age was from age 5 to age 15. You can imagine these boys are crying. They say they want to see their mothers, they want to eat food, they want to drink milk. There's nothing I can do. And the other boys too, we were trying to comport them, say today is bad, maybe tomorrow will be okay. The United Nations agencies such as UNHCR later came and they brought some food. It was not enough, Then they start distributing clothes, or like if they give you a bottom, like a shirt or something like that, then the upper part of you is naked. So they make sure you get a piece of a clothes. They don't give you like 2 of them. Diseases such as cholera, typhoid, malaria, whooping cough, measles, chickenpox, were killing boys every day. I remember in my own group, about 2 boys or 3 died each day, so that we could take their bodies, so we could bury them. When we come back tomorrow to bury the bodies of some more boys, we could find the bodies of those we buried yesterday, eaten by wild animal at night. That was a very graphic part of life story. But we did not give up. We kept pushing on with life. Later, World Food Program brought more food and more blankets. So when they give you a blanket, like what you use at night to cover yourself with, that would be, you use that at daytime to cover yourself, at nighttime you could cover yourself, of course, from the cold. So we stayed there in Ethiopia for about 4 years. Our life was getting better, then better, and better, start flying, and life was good. But that government of Ethiopia, which was good to us, was overthrown by Ethiopian rebel based in northern Sudan. And now the new government says that they didn't want us there, which is actually the current government of Ethiopia right now. They didn't want us there. They gave us 7 days to leave their country. As we're moving back to southern Sudan, the number of the lost boys and lost girls and some adults, we became 27,000 of us. As we're moving back to southern Sudan, we stopped at a place called Gilo. Gilo is a river infested with a lot of crocodiles. As we were figuring out how we can cross the river, because some of us did not know how to swim. So it took us about 4 days to figure out. We tried to tie a rope on tie it to a tree on one side of the river, and have somebody swim to the other side and tie the end to a tree on the other side, so that for those who do not know how to swim can slide over the other side. That didn't work out. One of the days we were attacked by the Ethiopian troop, maybe thinking we were what, I don't know. They start shooting at us. We didn't want to be captured to be taken to Khartoum so that you can be forced into Islam or something like that. Some died, some drowned, some eaten by crocodiles, others lost, others killed, others captured. We moved, I, myself, plus other boys, we moved back to southern Sudan. And we stopped at a place called Pochala. We stayed in Pochala for about 9 months, being bombed twice every day by the Sudanese aircraft that they were using, what is called Antonov, which is the Russian-made aircraft, Antonov. They bomb us twice every day. So we dug our trenches so that when they come, we can run into our trenches. Some of us were killed. Then when it became difficult, because there was no food, we decided to move to the interior part of southern Sudan to a place called Kapoita. On our way, some of the boys were abducted, some were killed, and we managed to get to that place. It took us about 6 months to get there on by foot. We were attacked in that place too. We moved to another place called Nairus. We stayed in Nairus for 3 months, and again attacked. Eventually, in 1992, we made it to another country called Kenya. Now, coming to Kenya was good because of so many things. Because the Kenyan government did not allow the government of Sudan to send troops into to cross into Kenyan territories. But another good thing about it, it is where United Nations was there, which means United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. They start school. That was really something cool about it, because this is when I start to learn A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, at the age of 17. I'd never been to any school of any kind before, and it was good. Our classroom were under trees. So we sit under the tree, and we study. A teacher will be sitting in the middle there, or standing in the middle there, and then we can kind of sit around the tree. We did that under tree sitting, under tree classroom, sitting on the dirt, using our fingers as pencils. We did that for about 4 years, or sometimes 3 years to do that. And what we did at the time, we just, like during the examination, the teacher will give you exam. So you just secure a big place in front of you. That's your, and somebody else will be sitting that way, somebody somewhere. You kind of sit, far away from each other, because in front of you is where you, it's your notebook, and then the teacher will come around and see what you wrote. For example, the teacher would say, he would give you a dictation of saying, for example, write man and a pound. I don't know what was that. Man on a pound. and then you write it down like a dictation. So that's how we learn. So you work harder so that you can be promoted to 4th grade. When you are promoted to 4th grade, you know, they will give you an award. But they will not give you that award unless you pass your classes and pass them high. And what they're going to give you, they're going to give you a very good, very important award. And that is, they will give you a notebook. Notebook, not the whole notebook. They cut that notebook into 3. So the 3 people can share that notebook. And they cut pencil into 3. So you work hard so that you could have that third of notebook, a half of notebook. It was just wonderful. So that's how we learned that. Now we stayed until 1999. 1999, when I was in my 11th grade, came for the first time Americans. Americans came, and we were told that Americans are here to take you to United States. We didn't believe them. In 2000, they returned. They came back, we mean they went back to the camp, and they start talking about America. They start doing paperwork and taking some of the boys to Nairobi. Nairobi is the capital city of Kenya. Well, now we start believing them, that I think that is true, we're going to go to America. And some of the boys was, you know, the topic about America is everywhere. People are talking about America. America is a good country. America is like this and that. Some of my friends were telling us, you know, if you go to the United States, it's okay to be lazy in America, you know, because if you are lazy in America, you know what the Americans do? They get a green card and tie and put a string to it and tie around your neck. So you show up at any restaurant in America, they will you just eat for free, you know. Well, the other boy was saying, you know, go to America. America have a better good technology. And that technology in America is that go to any restaurant in America, you don't need somebody to serve you. Or what you get is nobody there. Or what you get is there's a big table in every restaurant. And what do? You just sit there. There are some buttons on the top of that table. So let's say there's chicken button, there's a beef button, there's a vegetable button. So if you want to eat chicken, you just put chicken button, and chicken appear rolling from nowhere. I say that is a country that I want to go. You know, I want to go and push those buttons, chicken button. And so, well, the perception about American culture, it engulfs the whole camp. People are talking about America. They think they know America. And even my friend Daniel giving us warning, saying, if you go to America, American girls are crazy. You know? And he said how crazy they are is that, he said, they carry small bags. Every American girl, they carry small bags. And he asked us whether he'd say, do you know what is in those bags? We say no. We say, well, they have guns in it. And so if you mess up with American girl, they will shoot you, you know? So I was so amazed of a country where you could have chicken button and women are killing people, you know. I said, I'm gonna go, you know. And then all of a sudden, my name came out the board. John, now you're going to Syracuse, New York. Well, I said, I'm gonna go. It is because girls kill people. I'll stay away from American girls. So, and then I was flown to JFK and then to Syracuse. As we get out of Syracuse airport, at the corridor, there were about 14 from our church. They were waiting for us. And I was ahead. There were 3 of us. I was ahead of the group. And I think they knew us right away. They said, hey, how are you? One of them was running up to me. How are you? Welcome. Are you John? You know, welcome to America. I think they know us because we're very black and skinny. You know, I think they knew us right away. We are from Africa. And yeah, they greet us and we say, oh, welcome. And they very nice people, you know, very, very nice people. you know, but there were 4 girls there, you know. So I didn't want to go and hug those girls. I may mess them up and kill me, so I stayed away from them. So they took us to our apartment, actually, where they did such an orientation, a long day orientation, how to turn off light and turn on, all of these things, you know. And later, they were, before they go home, they said, let us take you to see, you know, to shop, how to shop. We want to show you how to shop for groceries. Well, we went, as I was following Susan Myers, one of them, and we came closer and closer to a door opened itself like this. I was amazed, you know, that they have all these magic doors that open themselves. But you know what I was thinking? I said, you know, I think that is true. The American people may be very lazy. They don't want to pull the door, and that's why they create all these. But I didn't tell them. I just, I thought if I tell them, they would kill me. So I stayed. So on the right side of that grocery store stood what I know today called salad. And I was wondering if they could have, if people can eat grass. I didn't know people were going to eat something like that, unless you were in my situation at the time. Inside the grocery store, man, lots of food, up one aisle of that food, and even we came across an aisle of dog food and cat food, you know. I would say this country is so wealthy, even animals, they own aisles, you know. It was something so difficult to comprehend. Anyway, we stayed in America for about 3 months. And then after 3 months, we were on our own. And, you know, then we started working. I started working at McDonald's. That was my first job, grilling hamburgers, doing dishes, working security guard, two jobs sometime, or 3 jobs sometime. And it was good that I can work, that I can get opportunity to work, support myself and support people back in Africa. You know, then I decided to enroll to Onondaga Community College. Then I finished my associate degree in 2004, and then transferred to Syracuse University, where I got my bachelor's. And, you know, then I said, here I am in America, being helped by the American people. When I came here, I knew nothing, and people helped me. What do I do? This is when I decided to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to give back. I'm going to work hard to give back. Then I formed my first organization known as the Lost Boy Foundation of New York. I ran it for about a year, raised about $35,000 for the Lost Boys in Syracuse. And then I stepped down from my organization. Then I formed another organization called American Care for Sudan Foundation. I call it American Care because the American people have been helping me. They took care of us when we came to the United States of America. And then I worked hard. I raised about $800,000. And I said, I'm going to build a medical clinic. And that's why I was able to build that medical clinic with the help of my other organization, the Bul Dau Foundation. We built that medical clinic since 2007 until today. We have treated over 60,000 people. Over 3,000 mothers gave birth at the clinic. Over 6,000 children being vaccinated. You know, we have helped so many people. That medical clinic, we've been very successful. We have blood bank. We have so many things that we have achieved. And I did not stop there. I brought my mother, my sister, and I am a father of 3 children. I, wrote 2 books now with my wife. God Grew Tired of the one you read, and the Lost Boys, a Lost Girl. The same other book it's a children's book called The Movie. That documentary you watch, that put me in contact with the people that I call my friend. People like Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt, Nicole Kidman. Brad Pitt is the executive producer. and Nicole Kidman narrate the movie. I have a house. When I was working as a security guard, as work at McDonald's, I work hard, I bought my house. I am a homeowner in the United States. I've been homeowner since I was about 6 years in the United States. I have been successful in so many ways that I proud say to all the Americans, to anybody, that I'm living American dream. Now let me ask you this question. Now you've been hearing me talking to you about my success. Do you think I'm here to show off or brag about my success? No, I'm not here to show off. I'm not here to brag. If you have been listening to the first part of my life story before, it was very graphic. I drank human urine. I'm still alive. I ate mud so that I could stay alive. Honestly, brothers and sisters, I never thought I would survive. I thought I may be the next to be killed by either wild animal or die from diseases or from starvation or thirst. I saw many people died, the people that I knew, the people that became comrade to me. But you know what? I survived. I survived. I survived because of two things. Number one, because of the Almighty God. God helped me and I survived. The second one, I survived because I did not give up. This is why I was accepting the call to come to your school today, to talk to you about one thing: never ever give up. At some point, we want to be, all of us, we want to be successful. We want to be successful. I want to be successful. But why is it sometimes when we are faced with a lot of difficulties, such as that I have so many homeworks, that I have so many numbers to, mathematics or science, or write papers, a long paper or something like that. Why is it sometimes we just give up? Why? And some people actually lie to themselves saying, well, by the way, education will not do anything to my life. I'm going to drop out. I'm going to drop out of the class. I'm going to drop out of school. But let me tell you this. We want to be successful. You want to be successful. I want to be successful. But let me tell you this. If you want to be successful, you must accept to struggle. Because I think success and struggle is a package. It's a package that you can never separate. Some people say, John, the reason why I'm not succeeding is because I was abused, because I was raised by one mom, by one parent, because I was adopted, because at some point, mother or somebody else abused me. I understand that, but this cannot stop you from becoming successful. And here's what I'm telling you. Whether you are a member of faculty, or whether you are a student, whether you are a parent here, here's what I'm telling you. Do not let yourself be held hostage of what happened in your life many years ago, or even yesterday. Look, many things happened to me. I have been abused, like I said before. I consumed things that I could never, ever forget. But they will never put me down. They will never hold me back, and I will never be thinking about that. I only think about that when I'm speaking to you. Why is that you let yourself be held hostage of what happened to you, or happened to your mom, or your dad, or your parent? It is time for you, and time is now. Don't let yourself be held hostage. never ever give up. And here's what I'm telling you. When you become successful, whether from here, maybe later, when you become successful, give back to your community. And this is what I'm doing today. I'm giving back to the people in Africa. I ask myself, when I will no longer be on earth, what will I tell to somebody that I have done? It is to give back to your community, and your community is this school. This school is your community. When you become successful, for those who became so successful, they give back, and that's why I'm here today to your school. And so it is your turn. When you become successful, give back to your community. Thank you very much.